UFC 262, Oliveira Chandler. Um, kind of go over what we thought about over the card and see how right and wrong we were and where we think the fighter should go and the UFC narrative from there. So I think we were pretty much spot on with the Jacare Souza call, right? Like we both picked Andrew Muniz, and it just didn't look like Jacare had much to offer for him anywhere, pretty much. He looks old and slow. The UFC cut him, so I guess that's the end of it for Jacare when you lose, getting slap knocked out from the bottom, and then you get your arm broken.
That was a nasty snap. I was impressed with the way he didn't even react to his arm snap.
Oh my god! And these dudes are warriors, man.
He was like, "Oh man, that's it."
Yeah, I was telling my wife about that. He didn't even move or react. It was just zombie.
He shook the other guy's hand. He was like, "Oh, good go, man." He was like, "Good game. You got me." That was awesome.
And I like the way that he caught it at that angle. It was reminiscent. It's certain things you don't do inside of a gym, right? That are just etiquettes on the way you grab or wrap up an arm, because it'll break easily. And it reminded me of that Liver Teixeira John Jones fight where he did that boxing elbow to him. You know, where you can easily just bend somebody's arm. It was the first time Jones ever used it, or anybody ever used it in a martial arts fight. But it's easy to snatch that elbow like that. And and people were like, "What?" And I was surprised that nobody ever used it before, and I'm surprised that nobody's attacked joints quite like Mooney's did that night. Like it could be done more often, I think. But I think a lot of fighters respect each other and don't want to really hurt one another. When it comes down to it, I don't think they really want to hurt each other. So.
No, for sure not. There must be some fighters in the past that have had that kind of bad blood, bad sportsmanship. Hey, a lot of broken bones in the last couple of events, wouldn't you say?
Oh my
Since
God.
Weidman started off, and
Weidman took it like a champ too, though. He laid there pretty quietly and didn't move. Yeah.
Did you see the video where he explains it and stuff, what he was going through?
Oh yeah, where he just laid on the ground and thought about how he'd come back from it. That
was kind of freaky when he talks about the pulse and how can you hear them, how they were looking for his pulse, and he was like, he knows if they didn't find a pulse, he could lose the leg. Like he was already thinking of that while he was still on the mat, while the whole crowd was watching replay after replay, going, "Whoa, whoa!" That must have been crazy.
Oh man!
Of course, he was singing for himself or something to get his head. That must have been nuts.
That's like they teach you in basic training, like if you ever lose a limb or something. Don't look at it, like it'll make you panic, like to relax and don't look at it at all, like
right. Keep the poker face.
Yeah, so reality doesn't set in quite as much if you just ignore it, I guess.
I know. A broken bone like that though, you're going through some trauma. He said he started feeling the pain though. In a lot of cases where you get hit with a lot of pain, I've been told that, or I've heard that you get this like natural anesthesia. You release dopamine or something. I guess he wasn't feeling that, because he said he started feeling, after a little bit, he started feeling the pain coming up.
Yeah. So we also talked about Lando Venata and the Grundy. I thought that was a great fight. Grundy, even though he looked to be outmatched, he couldn't really out-grapple Lando too much. Lando he was a step ahead of him the entire fight, and I was really impressed. His weight cut and his move to the division, he looks natural there. It didn't look like drained or anything. He had great cardio. Grundy looked like he was like taking pictures or whatever. Just couldn't fire off right. He was frozen in time, but I thought he started to loosen up a little bit. He started landing that overhand right towards the end of the fight a little bit more.
A couple of times I thought he could get him. If he caught him good, he had to watch out, But
he started loading up, but he needs to find a more pure striking approach, I think, and maybe in the next camp. I think Grundy has a lot of potential. I like his attitude, even though he was getting whooped, he never gave up. That was great performance by Venata. My nose is itching so bad. Okay. I don't know what it is. It's that COVID.
Oh shit! You can say those words.
Okay, Andrea Lee and Antonio Shevchenko. I almost called this one in my head. I thought Andrea Lee would come out hot. She's been disrespected by the judges. Um, Shevchenko's the golden goose, I guess, of the daughter of the sister, right? So I think she had
She
something to
got put
prove
down by
there, and I think she did a great job. I thought she looked amazing. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so
I thought Shevchenko, I expected more from her, I guess, because she related to her sister, but she didn't look good at all, man, to me.
yep. So then we move on to the main card, which was the crazy fight that kicked off the card. It was the Shane Burgos Edson Barbosa.
Crazy.
What would you think of that whole
I thought,
situation?
first, if I have to be honest, for some reason, I told you about this early in the week. For some reason, in my mind, coming into this fight, I thought Oliveira was defending the championship. Don't ask me why. I thought that. I thought for some reason he was already champ. Remember when we were
Well,
talking during the fight? I said,
right.
"Why is he crying like this?"
Well, we're talking about Barbosa, not Oliveira.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yep.
I thought you said main.
No, yeah, the main
Okay,
card.
yeah,
Kick off the main card.
oh, the fight was awesome. How did that one go? Remind me how.
Remember, Shane Burgos had the delayed knockout.
That's right. That was a weird knockout.
He hit him with the 1-2, and he kind of reset and then drifted back, hit the
Yeah.
fence. And the ref should have stopped it. I don't know why he was just asleep or something. And then Barboza followed the load up with two good shots.
Yeah, I
So
think from the angle, maybe he didn't see it.
yeah,
From the angle that the ref was at, he didn't see his
yeah, because
eyes.
my
It was weird.
cousins sent a text on Snapchat. They were like, "What happened?" I was like, "He hit him with the 1-2 right on the temple." It's those punches that land right on the end of the extension that just snap
I
right
never
at the
seen
end.
a delay like that, though. I never seen a delay. I never seen such a late reaction.
Shout
It
out
looked
to
like he
Teddy Atlas channel. He did a reaction video to it where he points out a couple instances in boxing where they.
was,
So if you can go find it somewhere,
yeah,
people are
I'll
listening.
check it out. It was
Um,
weird. I thought he had his blood pressure had dropped or something.
what I've
I thought
noticed
it was
about,
something.
we kind of talked about it in the pre-fight, is people have a traumatic reaction to Barbosa's power. Like when he starts kicking them and hitting them, it's almost like their body and brain go to two different places. Like they're like,
Yeah.
I don't like this at all. That you can tell that their mind checks out and they just autopilot almost like. So even I mean, Khabib and Justin
Nasty,
said he hits harder than anybody that's ever hit them.
nasty.
You can tell by Paul Felder's reactions that it's not pleasant at all.
Yeah,
So
I thought he
yeah,
fight. I checked him out a couple of fights, a couple of highlights, and he seemed to leave his hands down a lot. Not
yeah.
a lot of head movement. So I was already thinking, like, damn, if this guy catches him.
Shane
But yeah,
Burgos needs to take a lot of time off.
who's that?
Burgos, the guy who got knocked out, he needs to take some
Yeah,
time
yeah,
off.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm not a huge fan of Caitlin Chukagian's style, but that pity pat Magni, type style, I don't like it. But she looks solid. I thought that she could have finished her if she pushed a little harder. Uh, but
Yeah.
but I'm not a huge fan of, and I don't really know the other girl, so they're all fighting for Shevchenko's belt, I guess.
Yeah, but no one's going to even come close to that, I think.
No, she's good, but I don't ever see her beating Shevchenko. And on to the next fight that we were both happy for, Matt Schmel and Bontarine. It was a snooze fest. They ended up being a dud. We thought that fight was going to be one of the sleepers, right?
Yeah, we did. I think I actually felt, I have a time difference. It's a lot, so it gets really late. And I think I must have missed some of that fight. I must have dozed off because I have very recollection.
Yeah, that fight was. You probably were wide awake through it. But then we had a pretty great fight right there. Benil Dariush dominated Tony Ferguson on the ground. I think he ripped his knee in half. Tony didn't tap, just went into zombie mode.
Yeah, I had picked Tony. You had picked Tony too as well, I think, right?
Yeah, I thought that maybe that it was going to be maybe more of a stand-up battle rather than on
Yeah,
the
I
ground.
took
So
him.
I figured they'd go into a firefight, and and Tony come out
What
on
do you,
top
what do you think? How do you think Darius is going to do
against
further
the
down the line?
rest of the division.
Yeah, you think this guy's a contender after watching him against Tony, or you think Tony's just off,
He,
or is
he
this guy really that
Derek
good?
Tony has holes in his game and made up for it with violence. That's my opinion of Tony. Dariush, I could see him. I could see him doing well. He strategizes well. He game plans well. He's got some tricky punches. Like I said, I compared him to Kevin Gastelum. He can always like drop you and seems to be able to out grapple people. Maybe I think he might be able to stay out of trouble with Charles and maybe go 5 rounds hard with him. He has a gas tank. Uh, so I don't know. It just depends if he gets matchups. Like
His
I
craft
said,
is
you know who
his
my guy
craft.
is? It's Islam Makhachev, and I think they're just gonna keep him quiet till as long as they can. So,
Mm.
but yeah, I think Dariush could beat anybody and lose to anybody. That's my opinion on him. He's that guy that could just work out for him that night or not. That's kind of.
He looked good, man. He looked good on the ground, man. I was impressed. I was impressed. He looked good on the ground.
Yeah, but we talked about this a little bit before. It's kind of upsetting when everybody talks about how Tony didn't do anything. I talked about how he was landing all those elbows, and
That's why.
It made Dariush change his body positioning, the way he was tucking and holding on to Tony a lot. Tony hit him probably with 80 elbows on top of the head throughout that fight. You just can't sit there and
For
take
sure.
those elbows. And people,
That's
casual
why. That's why I'm thinking I
people,
was impressed.
casual people don't realize how hard it is to hold on to somebody. Check it out. Most people that don't fight or train, if they were in Tony's guard and he was elbowing him like that, they would quit. They would tap out. They would tap out instantly. Like I would probably
For
tap
sure.
out if I was in Tony's guard and he was elbowing me like that. I'd probably just tap out. Like honestly.
But that right there, that's what I mean. That's why I was impressed by him on the ground,
Mhm.
especially because Tony was throwing those
But
vicious elbows. He didn't cut him up.
you know how
He didn't cut him up.
disrespectful comment section fans are. They're like they're so mean. Like to. But if they were in that situation, they'd be tapping out. Like
No, Tony was doing good. He was doing great from the bottom, as he usually does, as he always does. I'm surprised he didn't cut him. I think if he would have cut him once or twice, it would have been it could have been a different game.
yeah, Tony needs to move on from anybody who could out wrestle him at all, and they need to give him a fighter that's almost just like him, that's gonna be primordial jiu-jitsu and striking Muay Thai base. You know.
And somebody unranked. A lot of people are calling for him to retire. I think even Helwani called for him to retire.
I don't think he should retire. I think he should just fight somebody more fan friendly. Go down. I
And
don't know. I
why would
don't
he retire?
know. Remember who he's fought? I'd like to see him fight Jim Miller or somebody like that. Like drop him down, give a fan friendly fight. You know.
That division is stacked, man. That division promises a lot of good fights in the near future.
You know, Nate Diaz versus Tony would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Nate's not gonna try to wrestle him. You know. So.
Nate's got a fight coming up now, right? Nate's fighting. Who's he fighting again?
Unfortunately, Leon Edwards. Leon's gonna beat the piss out of him. It's a terrible fight for Nick.
Yeah.
I love you, Nick, but Nate, but
No, I'm always gonna root for him. I'm always gonna root for Nate.
all
I'm
right.
always gonna root for him.
So
But
let's finish this up. We got Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler.
Well, that was a Rocky Balboa story coming to life. It's a shame, like I was saying earlier, for some reason, I thought he was defending. I didn't even understand why he was crying the way he was. If you recall, I sent you a message saying, look at him, why is this guy crying like this? And I didn't get it. I had to go relive it again the next day and watch it and go back into my mindset and remember his whole, like where he was coming from. I already thought he had won the title for some reason, or he just had it for some reason. But yeah, that was an incredible fight. And it was like a movie for him to come out like that, and almost get taken out in the first round, and then to come back in the second.
Yep, he broke Michael Bisping's record for most fights without winning the title or something like that. So yeah, he definitely took the hard route to get there. And what I liked about it is you saw him get better and better. Like it wasn't like it was, overnight something happened, like he took steroids or something. You saw
His
him
body,
improve here,
yeah,
and then you saw his footwork get a little bit better. Then you saw his combinations get sharper, and then you're like, whoa, he's putting it all together. And then he starts submitting people and dropping them, and then like
yeah.
it's really nice to see somebody put in all the work on all the crafts. That left hook is a picture perfect pull counter. Like hit him square in the jaw with it.
On the ball too, because they didn't even look. It was just more technical than power. You know,
Yeah,
it
it's
was just.
clean.
It was like when you. It was like when you hit the tennis ball in the middle of the racket. That feeling you get. That doop, like you just didn't hit. Or when you hit the baseball bat and you get it square on the baseball, and as you didn't even hit it, just feels good. Something
He
like that.
and you gotta give it to Chandler though. Like he is some
That
kind of
react. He's been there so many times, man. That his body
yeah,
just reacts and gets up like if
yeah.
nothing's happening.
The
He
like when
tried to
he
play.
yeah when he got leg kicked in the first round, he was almost standing up before he hit the ground. Like I was like, what the
That
fuck?
was a hell of a way. Yeah, that was a hell of a way for Oliveira to come on and start the fight as well. I thought that was awesome too. But
Yeah,
yeah, Chandler, when he got hit like that and he just gets up like nothing was going on, he was out of it. He
I
was
don't
already
like
out of it.
I don't like the fact how he turns and runs like that when he gets in trouble though. Like it's
I mean, did he really know where he was going after that shot? Man, that was a sweet shot. It
but he's
dropped him.
he's done that before. He's
Yeah,
turned and
he's
ran.
been there.
He's but in Bellator, I can't remember who it was, but popped him and he
I
started.
think it was Ed Alvarez. Yeah, he always
He,
gets back and starts pushing, starts changing the fence and trying to keep away. But
it's
I think it's
it's almost like what a brand new person who's learning how to fight after they get punched would do. Like
yeah,
like
it's the cobweb. I think after that shot, the majority of people would just stay down. That's it. You get that white light comes. I've been knocked out. So, you get that white light, you know what's going on. And I think these guys just have so much experience. They've been there so many times, just automatic, like a blind guy. It's kind of blind, just feels the fence on his back and knows the punches are coming from that side. But he was out, man.
so.
Just the way the got him out, he had lost already. So, yeah, good.
Let's give a quick shout out to your boy, the Beverly Hills Ninja. He had a great knockout.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright. That was a crazy knockout and finish. If he fights like that every time, I'd like to see who he fights next.
It'll be exciting to see him watch him fight again. See if he keeps it up, comes back with that same energy.
Right.
Keep that energy, dude.
Okay, so this next card, I don't know a whole lot of the fighters. A lot of them don't even have pictures. You get Yancy Medeiros on the card. He usually has an exciting fight. Second fight on the card. This is an early fight night too. It starts at 3 o'clock, middle of the day. So Ben Rothwell, Court McGee's on the card. One of the original Ultimate Fighters. Yep. Oh, the fight that I'm looking forward to the most on this card, besides the main event, is Jack Hermanson and Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian's the Ronda Rousey pupil. He's the guy that had some pretty slick knockouts. He had a rough go against Derek Brunson last fight, but I think he's got a lot of upside potential. He's real young, so real karate-like style. So.
All right. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that fight then. Yeah, I don't know too many people on this card, to be honest. Just looking forward mostly anything to that main event. And see how Cody does a rough fight.
Yeah, let's see if the invincible Cody can show up, the one that fought Cruz or Rob Font. You're not real familiar with Font, but I compared him a lot to Kelvin Cater before. He's a very similar just style to him, I think. Is a very nice left hook. Cody's gonna.
Do you have any fights maybe we should be looking out for in the early prelims? Do you know any of these people?
I would say the Yancy Medeiros Demir fight is, all of Yancey's fights are really exciting. I think if you're gonna watch a card, I'd watch that one. So, the one I don't really know about. I don't really know any of these other guys. Kind of just gonna wing it tomorrow and see who surprises me, I guess. But
Right, so Cody's coming off a win against Assunção, and what about this guy Font?
Rob Font.
Last fight.
I think he's on a win streak. Hold on. Let's see if
When is that? Oh, he beat Mario Moraes last
Oh
fight.
yeah, yeah,
This fight.
yeah. Marias, I think people got him figured out.
Yeah, no. Thought you were gonna do better after
Let's
those
see,
first
Rob
fights.
Font. Let's see if I can find his record. I should have went to ShareDog or something, I guess.
He's 18-4-0.
Yep, that's good. Let me see if I can find a better. Yeah, he fought Marlon Moraes, Ricky Simon. That was a great fight. Simone beat Sergio Pettis. Sergio Pettis is now in Bellator. Lost to Rafael Sunsao. I thought that was a pretty close fight, right? Unanimous decision, Mark Goddard. Yeah, here's ShareDog. Lost to Sunsao and John Lineker. John Lineker is one of my favorite fighters to watch.
Yeah.
Mean power. That's some crazy power. And Pedro Munoz. So he lost to 3 top guys. He's starting to put it together though. I think this is a coin toss. I'm not gonna pick anybody. I think anybody can beat anybody. If I have to give it to you though, I'm gonna pick Rob Font 51% to 49%. That's how I would. It's gonna be real close. I think either guy can land, but I would favor Font in a more technical battle. I think he has the better tools to clip Garbrandt.
I think a good game plan for Rob Font will be try to hit him really hard and get him pissed off.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal all the time, right? To hit him real hard.
Yeah, but I mean, get him pissed off. If you get him mad, then all of a sudden he's got open holes everywhere.
All right, let me see. I took some notes down. Been watching some podcasts. I was watching that Darren Till podcast.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever noticed this, Darren Till jumped on Bisbing's podcast, and he's constantly doing this right here to his face. And he can't not touch his nose, and you can tell he picks his nose and eats his boogers. It's one of the most disgusting things. Like, it's almost hard to watch him talk because he can't not leave his nose and his boogers alone. Like, he's constantly...
Have you actually seen him eat a booger or not?
Yeah, he made a video after he knocked out somebody going, it was gross.
Oh.
Let's see. So, hold on, I took some notes down. Let's see. I said it looked like Tony greased. That's a note I got down here. I said Chandler and Darius should have made Oliveira stood up and made Tony stand up once he was hurt. A lot of people need to be more aware of what's going on and not get so tunnel vision, I think, when they're in there. Let's see else. Mention the elbows from the bottom.
You think once he got hurt, the ref should have got them both up?
Yeah, I also think the ref should have stopped that fight with Tony. It was obvious he was in pain and something happened there. And when he stood up and Tony was walking funny, I think the fight should have called it off. Like, there's no
other injury, just like an eye injury where you can't see or nothing. They call in a ref. They call in a doctor. You should have done something like that, right? That would make more sense.
Have him take 2 steps to the left, walk forward, walk back. Can you do a lunge or something like?
Yeah, do a squat even.
Yeah, a squat, lunge. All right, let's go. So, but if you're not able to properly defend yourself, you shouldn't be fighting.
Right. Yeah, he was already there.
They need to start looking out more for the fighters. I see a lot of that happening where the refs or corners not calling the fight. Oh, the main event, the Charles Oliveira. We talked about the left hook, but what I want to bring up, none of the channels have mentioned. You know what the fight looked exactly like is where Nick Diaz fought what's his name? The English dude. The boxer. Black guy.
Diaz.
In Strikeforce. What's his damn name?
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. Paul Daly?
Paul Daly. There you go. So Nick Diaz got dropped, and he was throwing bombs. Nick went to his hands and knees, and as he's sitting there throwing bombs, he starts bobbing and weaving his head, and then he rolled to his back, and then he refused to go there. Remember that? Like, it was
I remember going side to side and grabbing the leg. Didn't he grab his leg?
He tried to grab him, and then he went to his back, just like Oliveira did. It was almost the exact same thing. Like,
you're right.
So I always tell my friends that and people that a lot of UFC fighters, it's like an ego. I gotta stay standing up, and then they stay standing up and they get knocked out. Or I like the fact that Nick, when he got hit, he's like, okay, I'm hurt. I'm gonna drop to my knees. Okay, I gotta drop to my back. Like,
You kept popping and weaving on the floor. I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah. So there's no quit there, and I like the fact. I didn't like the fact I commented under one of the Chandler's videos. He was saying that on ESPN that Oliveira's a quitter, and I was like, wait, you called timeout after Will Brooks punched you in the mouth. You literally, for the first time I've ever seen in a fight in my life, a dude be like,
Time out.
timeout, timeout, like.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like, and you're calling Charles a quitter. Like, you're a better fighter than me, but it really rubbed me the wrong way when you're telling me.
They're just trying to get light. They're trying to get shot. They're trying to throw shade in order to get light.
Yeah, but I didn't like that, and I think it come out to bit him in the butt. Like so. You can't bank on weakness. I think you just got to be the bank on your strengths, right? Like, so. But I need to get.
In my mind. Hey, speaking of Nick Diaz, so you think he's going to be coming back for real this time, or what? Or you think it's just up on the top?
So I see different photos of him, and I can't tell from when it's on. But there's him and Tyson Fury where Pac's in the back. His body doesn't look too good, man. It doesn't. It might just be he's got a business going on, and he's got a gym and jiu-jitsu stuff. It might just be all for selling himself, like he's promoting himself, which is good. The UFC owes that man. They ruined his career. They owe him so much that so. And people were like, he didn't ruin his career. The Athletic State Commission, USADA, and the UFC are all like this. It's just like any crooked little town where the foster care systems with the judge and the courthouse, they're all friends and buddies with each other.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think that only a couple of years later, like all these fighters are getting sponsored by CBD oils and all kinds of hemp companies.
Yeah.
Now they don't seeds and stuff too. It's like, what the fuck, man?
So it's absolutely disgusting what the UFC's done with a lot of these situations. They don't like real alpha males, and that's similar situation with the Kwame Brown, Diego Sanchez thing. They don't like people thinking outside the box. They don't like people fighting back against the brand, and the narrative. Yeah. So. But I have to get these kids to gymnastics class and party Friday night.
All right, man. All right.
Sounds like you got a phone call.
Phone call.
Oh man. So we might move this podcast to a new channel, and because I'm pretty sure this channel is throttled, nerfed, shadow banned. Pretty bad, so it'd be probably best to move it. But we will be doing a podcast for conspiracies on this channel, and we'll keep it here, and we'll probably move this one to another channel. So all my conspiracy friends don't have to hear about combat sports. So, got anything else?
All right, man. Keep getting this phone call.
Peace.